Many times as of late, it's felt that those I can truly depend on could be counted on one hand, while those who may be counted contrary could be counted on the hands and feet of the globe. This is indeed an obvious overstatement and generalization due to frustration, and yet the point rings true. Ultimately, we will fail others and be failed regardless of how genuine our heart may be. Even the man of the strictest integrity will stumble at some point. And yet we have a propensity to let the wounds resulting from those who have failed us or let us down fester and putrefy rather than exercising gratitude for the unfailing promises of the Almighty and those precious individuals who may be counted on that one hand. To be transparent, this one hits home for me. I have found myself in an unparalleled wilderness due to the substantial letdowns of some of those closest to me, compounded by dealings with those who attach no bond to word, deed, or handshake. As one with a background in trauma care, I know when a deep wound happens, you quickly assess and act. A tourniquet is applied to the extremity in case of arterial bleed. The hemostatic agent is packed into the arterial wound cavity. The NPA is inserted if the airway is blocked and so on. To ignore the urgency of treating the wound is almost a sure ticket to a toe tag. To merely stare at the wound in frustration and bitterness is likely the last act of such a fool. And yet we are often so tempted to merely examine our internal wounds in such a foolish manner. We look at them from every angle and calculate their causes while the corresponding root of bitterness grows to towering stronghold. Any horticulturist will attest that a tree is far more easily uprooted as a sapling than when its roots have stretched deep within the earth. Some stumps prove so stubborn as to be all but impossible to remove. And so it is with the roots of bitterness and disgust as they sink their damnable roots deep within our heart. We have an adversary who delights in tending and nurturing such a seed. Unless it is dealt with, it will continue to grow, for it shall never miss its nourishment from an enemy who is an expert on sowing discord. It must not be allowed to sprout and sow its sinister seed. As the egress of lifeblood must be stopped so that healing may ensue and life may endure, so too must these strongholds be torn down by the weapons of spiritual warfare that are not carnal but mighty in God to the pulling down of said strongholds. Such wounds will generally not cause us to perish so quickly as an arterial bleed left to flow at its leisure, and yet it will deeply hinder our walks with Christ and the order of all things pertaining to life and godliness. The freight train of despair ceases to slow, leaving only missed opportunities and spiritual scar tissue in its wake when we grant it the precedent that we ought to grant our able Lord. If such a root is forming within, pluck it and cast it into the fire with impunity. If such a root has multiplied into manifold sources of bitterness and despair, implore the Heavenly Father to reveal it, along with any accountability and deceit to be found within one's own heart, and to bring forth healing. The road to reconciliation may be long and arduous, yet it will yield the life, peace, and fellowship with the Almighty that has likely long since diminished to ember. What seems impossible with us is possible with God. If we ask anything of His will, He promises to hear us and to respond. There is no reconciliation beyond the boundaries of His reach, for He sent the sinless, spotless Passover Lamb to reconcile the world. Cast away the unbelief that deceitfully whispers that you're too far gone. There is no such phrase for even the most wayward sheep of His flock.